Hey everybody, it's Jeremy and welcome to another episode of Sipping with Jeremy. And today we're going to be talking about Blanco tequilas. Myself, I'm a huge Reposado fan, but it's hard to call yourself an agave enthusiast if you don't at least appreciate what Tequila Blanco can be, because it is the base of what your tequila is before it is aged. For most tequilas after distillation for Blanco, you are resting them in some type of vat. You have your stainless steel, you have your cement, you have your clay, and then it's bottled. There are a handful of Blanco tequilas that are aged for 1 to 3 months in oak before bottling, and that is totally allowed by law. The 4 Blanco tequilas we'll be tasting today are Cimarron, Postumo, Tepozan, and Libelula. And let's start out with the Cimarron. So made at NOM 1146 with brands like Don Fulano and Fuente Seca, Cimarron is just a super easy drinking tequila blanco that's great for cocktails. Part of the reason for that is because during fermentation it is made with the winemaker's yeast, so then giving this really unique mouthfeel that plays really well in cocktails. And the fact that you get a liter bottle for around $30 just makes it super friendly for cocktails as well. So that winemaker yeast in there really allows this softer mouthfeel to just coat your palate and then let the flavors of the agave lightly introduce themselves to your taste buds. So you get some white pepper, you get that green vegetable note, but again, it's all super soft and really easy going. This is definitely the kind of tequila where you get a little bit more when you start adding it into a cocktail. There's a soft earthiness in there as well. I bet you that plays really well with some citrusy flavors. And yeah, again, this is just a super easy drinking tequila blanco that allows you to do a lot of different stuff in cocktails. All right, so let's move on to Postumo, which is made at NOM 1586, uses lowland agaves, and uses natural fermentation. Yeah. So there's this really nice creaminess on that one. Kind of the idea of a vanilla bean, not like the sweetness of a vanilla bean by any means, but just that softer creaminess that kind of coats your palate as well. And then that just kind of gives off to more of these savory herbal flavors. You get a lot of those white pepper notes. You get a lot more of those green pepper kind of vegetal notes in this one as well. But it's really balanced out nicely. Softer black pepper on the spice too on the finish there. They talk about how in lowland tequila, the lowland agaves, that there are these bigger kind of vegetal notes, a lot more of those savory herbal characteristics compared to the highland tequilas with a little bit more fruit. And this is a perfect example of that, because you do get a lot more of those vegetal characteristics, but that really nice vanilla bean note that I mentioned at the beginning kind of softens it all up and lets it layer on the palate. So this is definitely more of like a kind of tequila blanco that you could sip, could go in a cocktail, but definitely has the availability of sipping because there are a lot of depth of flavors there with the different levels of spice in that softer vanilla bean. So let's move on to Tepozan, which is a truly estate tequila. And what I mean by that is that their agave is grown on their estate. The distillery, NOM 1584, is on their estate. Their well water source is on their estate. And even the name, Tepozan, comes from the Tepozan bushes that are all around the distillery that help with the natural fermentation that they make on their tequilas. So let's give the Tepozan Blanco a taste. So yeah, this is more of the savory kind of tequila that I really enjoy when you're looking at a Blanco. Because again, you get to taste a lot of the vegetal notes of the true agave flavor. So on this one, you get a lot of those kind of green, white pepper flavors up front, a lot more of that white pepper note. You get some softer kind of earthy, kind of soily aspects to it. Then there is a little bit of softness. There's like a little bit of a cocoa nib, softer kind of stone fruit in there too. That just kind of pops up for a little bit, but then goes away, dries out the palate, and allows that white pepper to really come back again on the finish. So definitely more of a savory kind of tequila blanco, which I'm a fan of, but this is definitely more of those kind of sipping style too, because there's a lot of layers here. And we're going to finish off today by talking about the Libelula tequila. So made at NOM 1604, this is an interesting one because it is a blend of 80% tequila blanco, 20% tequila reposado, and it's fun because it can be used in cocktails, but there is a lot of depth there, so you could also sip on it. All right, let's give it a try. It really reminds me of like a Cristalino tequila because you have those richer flavors like you would get in a reposado and an añejo. You're getting some cocoa nib. You're getting some really nice like softer butterscotch flavors on this one. You get a little bit of that toasted oak. It brings out a little bit of toasted vanilla as well with it. Then you get this really vibrant white pepper flavor in there. So you still get the taste of the Blanco tequila too. And I can see why this is a really fun one to use in cocktails because it gives you a little bit of richness and depth that you would find in a añejo or reposado tequila. But then it also gives you this really nice fresh agave flavor that you find in a Blanco. So it gives you a little bit more depth to your cocktail without having to spend the money on, a reposado or a añejo to be in the cocktail. And you still get the agave flavor that you sometimes lose in those longer aged tequilas. All right, everybody, so that's going to wrap up this week's Sipping with Jeremy. Thank you for checking us out. We will put the link for all 4 of these tequilas below, so you can check them out if you'd like to. Thanks for clicking on us. Drink well.